fuck, where was I? Somebody went, hey, Papa Giorgio! What the fuck? Like, that's such an obscure reference. I went, oh, nice!
Papa Giorgio.
Nice.
Hey, it's Les from the TV Dudes. As part of our continuing coverage of ATX Television Fest Season 13, I'm thrilled to bring you my chat with Halt and Catch Fire creators Christopher C. Rogers and Christopher Cantwell, as well as actor Toby Huss, who plays John Bosworth on the show. We talk about Toby's career, why Halt and Catch Fire was special, what making the show meant to the creators, and what a bonding experience it was for everyone involved. It's a great interview, and I hope you enjoy.
So I'm Les from the TV Dudes. Can I have each of you introduce yourselves?
Sure, I'm Chris Rogers.
I'm Chris Cantwell.
I'm Toby Huss.
And of course, I just got to see the Halt and Catch Fire panel.
Oh.
Panels are always fun. You know, it's not like animosity on stage, but if you guys had group hugged at the end, it would not have shocked me. There was so much love, and you could tell how special it was.
Yeah.
And I was really, like, especially hearing in y'all's voices, that this was the thing that made this career possible, made this dream happen. Can you talk a little bit about the fear, the trepidation, getting your feet under you? Did you feel over your skis that whole first season? What was that like?
We were just talking about this morning, actually. Like, both of us, it was the first TV job we ever had, was that show. Mm-hmm. So it's really daunting to walk into a writer's room and all the other writers are more experienced than you and have these incredible credits, you know, Mad Men and Deadwood and Southland, and it was daunting, like, from one moment to the next. And also, it's an industry that it seems to delight in scaring you about the responsibilities of being a showrunner, and you know, here's welcome to the hardest job you're ever going to have, and you're you're never going to see your family again, and you're like,
hill to die on.
Yeah, exactly, all this stuff.
Congratulations, kids, success will kill you.
Yeah, exactly. Like it, and it wasn't that, and that was what was amazing. So I think it took us a while to unclench, and let the adrenaline fade, if it ever really did, but and just ease into it and trust the fact that everyone around us was really supportive and a wonderful person.
I know for me too, there was just like you had gone to film school, so I assumed you had a trove of knowledge on this, but there was just like several moments where, like, we went to Atlanta to location scout, and I was like, oh, this is cool, we're going to go on fun trips for this job. And then it was like, okay, now you need to move to Atlanta for like X months, and I was like, oh, this is escalating quickly, you know? So I think there was just also some kind of sincere not knowing about what was next that was thrilling, but also, you know, everyone thinks they're a fraud. I still think I'm a fraud, but it was
You're not.
It was exciting. Thank you.
Well, no, from my point of view, it never once seemed like this was you guys' first job. It
That's
never
amazing.
did. It always seemed like this thing was moving forward, was really smart, and was really thought out. And like, we'd get those scripts and we'd look at them, we'd all read them together, and we'd sort of dive. We'd spend 4 hours sometimes. We'd make dinner and spend 4 hours with these scripts of these dudes who hadn't written shit before. It didn't make any sense. And also the way that because you have to build that environment. It doesn't just come on its own. So something was coming out of you guys that was really genuine and sincere. I mean, you saw the result of it 10 years later. We really like each other, and it's genuine, and we made something really artful. And we never knew it was their real first real gig, you know.
Knowing that it was a bit of a show on the bubble, for whatever it means, and that you weren't dead sure you had a 2, 3, 4. It doesn't feel like that from the audience side. It feels on rails that these character arcs are so solid. You know, where Boz gets to go from this guy that's like, stupid kids with your stupid ideas, and how I'll show you how business works, to kind of being fucked by him. Doing some jail time and then coming back. Yeah. And being this. Toby, as an actor, was that fun to get to revisit a character in a way you don't get to do in movies or single season shows or something? Was it fun to get to grow with Boz? And did you guys fully know where that was going, or was that something that evolved from knowing Toby?
It was great to be able to play that. I mean, it's super rare, you know, because usually they're going to have they're going to hang out a character like Bosworth as the foil to all the fun shit that's happening. Hey, you got to keep it down in there. That computer's never going to work. Pound, pound, pound. All right, I represent the establishment. Something pretty hammy. And they never let him once be hammy. They never let him once be a caricature. They opened this guy up in a very unique and caring, kind of a compassionate way, because that's how I always looked at. I had a lot of compassion for that man, you know, because he really got rat fucked. He really got rat fucked by this crew that came in and destroyed his whole world. I mean, that was gone. Mm-hmm. And you guys let him build himself up after that and open him up as a human being, and that's really rare.
Yeah. It's a remarkable thing in any show to get to see a character repair like that. And I think you guys did it over and over. Watching Donna put away what every woman I know was raised to do, which is make themselves small and make the guy next to them look better. Mm-hmm. And that's not great, but almost every woman I know my age got somewhat raised in that. And to watch Donna drop that and not just have characters tell me Donna's smart, but like Bill mentioned in the piece they showed, the clip they showed, you see Donna be smart. Mm-hmm. I can't believe how often shows forget to show me something rather than tell me something.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, it's such an adage. Moving it from time to time, what did you guys see emerge as the theme of the show? For me, it feels like being seen. Is kind of each character. Boz becomes a truer, more pure Boz. We get to watch all the characters really. Mm-hmm. I mean, Gordon has a Flannery O'Connor. You fucking has, but to see all these people evolve like that, I think it's just a really special thing.
Yeah.
When you're sitting down to write it and you don't know if you have another season, was it tempting to try to rush those arcs? Like, oh gosh, should we get Donna to where she ends now? What if we don't get a season 3? What if the audience never gets to see Boz rebuild?
I don't think we ever approached it that way with that mindset. I think it was, this is the time we have to tell it. We don't know if we're going to get to finish it. I think we at least had what I think television of the distant past didn't have, which was they could be canceled in the middle of whatever they were doing. They'd order a season and be like, okay, we have this season. We have these 10 episodes. So what's our starting moment for them? And then where are we taking them, right? We're going to arc them that way. And if that is our last one, then let's put it in a place where there could be a suggestion of more story, or we finish it there. You know what I mean? They finish looking at the beginnings of the World Wide Web in season 3. That could have been the finale. 2, I forgot where it ended, but
2 is moving to California.
Move to California. They all get on a plane and they go try it.
One of my favorites.
That could be it. 1, was one. It was
burning
Joe.
the truck. One, it would have been set up. It ended after one.
One would have been kind of a down note. Gordon just
kills the show.
Well, I think that. But I mean, even if you look at that season, it's like Joe had a plan to take over the world, essentially, right? And what was revealed was that he actually didn't have a concrete plan. He was kind of going by his gut. He was motivated by things inside himself that he was in denial of. And that all gets ripped open by the people he uses in that season, so that he's just totally laid bare and dismantled, so that by the end, he has this grand idea to make a computer, and he just burns them all down by the end, you know what I mean? Because he has been brought to his knees by the sheer humanity he's encountered in all the other characters. Yeah. And so, just those last moment was always so important to us in terms of the structure of each season, And yeah, I think we really approached it that way.
I grew up near Dallas, and
me too.
And so I grew up in Paris, Texas, about an hour.
Oh wow, yeah.
So Texas near. It's like an hour and a half. Boz felt incredibly true. The look of the show in Dallas felt incredibly true to guys I knew as a kid. People friends of my stepdad's that worked at TI in years where there's way more cocaine than you should do making computers, or doing anything, frankly. you'd hear these wild stories. It's 80s computer stuff. Seeing that on screen was a blast for me. What was it like getting to build that world? I know set can feel magical sometimes. Y'all talked a little bit about stepping into a period decorated set, and it's just weird. Mm-hmm. What was it like for you, particularly growing up in Dallas? Like, what was it like to build that again and then make it feel realer than cosplay? Make it real for you.
For me, just growing up in Dallas, and I think my father worked in computers, and that first Cardiff Electric is very much inspired by the place where my dad worked at the time. And I had all those conversations that you have with your father, like, I never want to do what you do, you throw that back at them, sometimes you're like, you want to maybe follow in their footsteps. And I remember my dad at one point saying to me, because his job was so difficult and sometimes thankless, he did enjoy parts of it, but it was very difficult and very stressful for him. He said, I do what I do so that you don't have to. We had that conversation too. But I also had the really defiant, rejection of all of that. And then I walked onto the set of Cardiff Electric, and I had recreated my father's office, that's like something you can unpack with your therapist for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Like, it was really, really surreal for me in that way. Yeah. I can imagine.
Having just come off the panel, I don't want to ask exactly what was asked there. Getting down to Atlanta and being on set and going through the scripts with the rest of the cast and stuff, can you talk a little bit more about unpacking these things over dinners? I don't feel like most shows, even movies, work like that anymore. You talk to stage actors, and sure, they got rehearsal time, but a lot of times it feels like people just parachute into a movie or you don't get any time. What was it like having a little bit of camaraderie with the cast? And
it was beautiful. I'd never worked like that before. Theater things maybe, something like that. But even then, it was everybody, going over to Lee's, whatever place he was renting, and he'd make some dinner, and we'd all bring some food over and make dinner and have some wine and hang out, and we'd get through with a scene. And then it would be, Mackenzie talking about the scene, and then Scoot would say something about it, and I'd say something. No, I think Cameron means to do this, and we'd argue about stuff and talk about stuff, and it was great. It was like old school theater stuff working at it. It was beautiful.
Did that get to filter back to the writing?
Oh yeah.
I know it's hard with the distance.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. They kind of train you as a showrunner. I feel like there's a lot of showrunners that walk around kind of bragging about how they kind of shut up their difficult actors. Like you hear a lot of misguided war stories about, they told me they wanted to change the line, but usually you're getting a lot of calls on Monday from these guys after they've gone through the script where it was like, oh, that's better, that's a little better.
I think we just decided to.
Notes,
it's much more effort and time commitment from both the cast and us, but we would get on the phone and talk for an hour and just be there as a conduit, and then we were just so happy to hear that was happening.
But it was also to you guys' credit, because you could have said, as normally would happen, hey, you know what, we got to nip this in the bud right now because you guys are discussing a thing that we don't need discussed. You got to do what we want you to do, and you would let Lee call you and say, hey, here's my revisions. And I don't think I ever had any big revisions, but I'm involved in the process, so I'm really protective of those guys, and if they have a problem with it, then I have a problem with it too, and let's figure this out.
Yeah, and I think we would. Isn't that what makes you feel invested in a thing too, by the way? Like, whoever felt more invested after being told, like, just shut up and do your part?
Right.
Exactly.
But
you'd be shocked at how often that happens. Like, what the fuck are you... I had a director fucking 2 weeks ago come up to me on the set of a TV show I was doing.
Spielberg.
And it was Steven Spielberg.
Did he drop that on TV?
It was Milos Forman's grave. It was, this guy comes up and I did a little thing, and he said, hey, and the showrunner was there in the garage watching, we're shooting on location. He goes, you want to pick it up a little bit in this scene? And, oh, okay. Well, I'm playing a cop, introducing him to other cop from Guy. And, okay, we go in and do say, I kind of improvised a couple lines, and the director comes up, almost ashen-faced, but he went, don't improvise.
Oh my God.
And he walked away, and I went, okay. Look, it's my, I've got to get out of here by 5, and paycheck, okay, no more improvising, good for you, let's go. I get the rules. Look, this isn't going to make me or break me, let's get the fuck out. But it was like, look, that's not an uncommon attitude of somebody to just go, stop, Stop with this shit.
That's,
Just do what we fucking told you, you animal.
Yeah.
You go, a fucking grown man. What do you mean?
I think
Oh,
if
got
the
it.
conversation was about the work, like we were always open to it. I think you and I, that was the big thing. We talked about going into your first writer's room, and it was like we just knew that we had to keep an open mind when it came to everything. And if it was about the work, it was a conversation worth having. Obviously, you know, like you're going to run into bad faith arguments and things like that, but we had so few of those because everybody was so invested. And like, I think that we just started from there because we had to learn on the fly. So it was like if doors were shut on us, we would be out of luck. You know what I mean? And we had a showrunner that started who really brought us in and was incredibly transparent with us, with John Lisco, and kind of we learned from him. You know what I mean? And then try to even evolve that and make it even better as we took over. Yeah.
One of the favorite things that ever got told to me about screenwriting was that no matter how good it is, a screenplay is an invitation to collaborate. Like I told earlier, the Spanish for screenplay is just translates to guide, which makes a lot more sense, honestly. So I really think it's highly of both of you that you have this baby, and you've already had to share it with the writer's room, and you got other input and everything, and you got this group you trust, and then the actors are thinking about it, and then and you've got physical knowledge in your body of how this is. No, it's going to feel weird if I move like this or say it like this. Trust me, guys, it'll be more natural. But that's got to be hard to keep letting more people join in on your thing. Can you talk a little bit about what that felt like? Did it feel exciting?
Yeah.
Did it feel scary?
Well, and I'll just say, God, I mean, I don't know, like, they just so consistently made it better along the way. Because, I mean, I don't know, that you write stuff, the worst thing that can happen, and I've seen this happen, where it's like you write a thing and you're like, this is fucking perfect, and then people put it up on its feet and you're like, ooh, okay, wow, maybe I didn't write something I could, and you realize it is just, you know, it can be the same words, but it's just like the choices that get made, the level of investment, the collaboration of it, and so I guess I feel that way about like every step of it, you know, because so much of what we saw on screen today, we didn't do. Other writers did, or the director kind of made a great choice, or the actor made a great choice.
Yes.
You know, and so in success, you end up getting this monolithic credit for a thing, but that is such a team lift, and I don't know. I guess it just kind of started that way too. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's a great script, and we tried to hold up our end, but we were just surrounded with, I feel like, a lot of talent, and we tried to let our players play.
Yeah. Otherwise, I feel like if you, I've seen people create something and then be so protective of it that it just dies, and that's not that's not doing the thing you love a good service. You know what I mean? You've got to share it, and then when it airs, it doesn't even belong to you. Like it's the people in the audience that were at the panel. You know what I mean? They all have their thing that they take away from the show. You know, it's no longer just ours.
I remember one time my daughter was 5 or 6 or something like that. She climbed a big tree in our front yard, and I didn't want to stop her from exploring, but you're also terrified because she got up about 4 feet and then she got up 6. I went, oh, fuck, come on, kid, don't go up to 10. And she starts going up to like 10 feet, which is, you know, in your mind, it's going to kill a child if she falls.
Yeah.
And I just said, because you can't just scream, be careful, be careful. It just does something for you, nothing
Means
for them.
nothing to them.
But you watch this thing, you got to let this thing live. You got to let this thing be heroic, her own little hero, make mistakes, whatever it is. So I just said, hey, okay, just remember where your feet are and your hands. Okay.
Yeah.
She went, yeah, okay. Climb. And you had to kind of walk away and let this thing happen. And it's trust, but it's terrifying. And it had to be at some point with you guys with this show to go, it's either going to sink or it's going to do its thing. We have to let this show become what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And maybe it's going to be an injured animal, but let's hope not, because you have the right things in place, and hopefully it won't be.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I'm always a sucker for history, and so I love getting to watch each season's slight different take on a history that I felt like I kind of knew, sort of lived through, but then you get to see it turn on its ear a little bit. And we're wrapped up. I'll let you guys go. I just wanted, in terms of bringing stuff to it that you didn't put in, the last season aired just after I had lost my oldest friend. Long illness, and he passed. And so I was caught off guard, honestly, in the discussion board at the thing of like I didn't know that was that close to the surface. I mean, right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's remarkable sometimes I don't know, people love to go, it's TV. I don't need to own a TV. I'm a book reader. Like, man, have you watched TV lately?
Yeah.
Stories are stories. And stories are process and live.
100%.
Thank you guys for making something that helped me feel that.
Thank you for connecting with us.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You too.
TV Dudes is an independently run podcast out of Austin, Texas. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/TVDudes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is done by our friend and original TV Dude Gregory J. Amani Smith.
To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com. I'm Randy Lander.
I'm Les Weiler.
And I'm Kyle Scott.
Thanks for listening.